Howdy howdy y'all, Betta here. I've gotten so many messages over the last couple of months begging me to do a tutorial on how to breed, and I guess I'm gonna do this first one's just gonna be for beginners, and then later on I'll do some for advanced breeding techniques, because I'm the most successful breeder in the world, and I've got a lot of techniques and stuff I can show you guys and teach you guys that no one else even uses or even knows about. So like I said, this one will be for beginners I guess, and then later we'll do one for advanced techniques for people who already know how to breed, and I'll just teach you better ways and things you never knew so that you can be better at it. But we're gonna cover a couple basics real quick. I guess my dogs are in my way. That's Lily and Booger. Get out of the way. Alright, so basically, if you have a glass tank, you're going to want it set up like you see here. And this is what you want to use for your nest. Don't use wax paper or any of the BS. Basically, 99% of everything you've been told in a beta breeding video, you want to ignore. Beta breeding videos and articles and websites and whatnot are completely wrong, and basically it's one person just copying other bad information that they saw or were told somewhere else. So ignore everything you've been told, and what you want to do is you want to take a styrofoam cup and you take a razor blade and just run it around the bottom, however much of the cup, you know, like a third of the cup, and that'll give you that nice thing there. It's got a nice deep recess on it. One thing you absolutely must have for breeding is a mirror, so that you can, without disturbing the water or anything, no matter what kind of container you're using, you can get down and you can get a peek underneath the nest. And you need isolation jars or isolation cells. I have them available if you need them. They're dirt cheap. You can get tons of them for a couple bucks. But you need an isolation cell to keep the female separate from the male, to where they can see each other 24/7 and stimulate the spawning and ripening. But you don't want them to be able to get near each other and actually touch each other or damage each other. So there's different kinds that I use, but basically it's all the same. The females need to be where the male and the female can't get near each other. And when your females are finally conditioned and ready to breed, they're going to look like this. They're going to have a big drop belly on them. They're going to look like they're about to pop. And I don't know if you can see it, but on the bottom of their belly there's a whitish yellow dot that sticks out. And when that dot is stuck out kind of like a tube, like that, they're ready to go. And one huge tip that nobody will tell you, but that you need to know. First of all, if you're a beginner, every beginner, including myself a decade ago when I first started breeding, they're way too impatient, and they start losing their minds, and they're real antsy and impatient, and they don't know, you know, that, and they keep putting the male and female together before they're ready. And a good rule of thumb is, and something you never ever want to break, is when you put them together, if they're not both together underneath the nest, not harassing each other, but together, just staying under the nest, kind of spooning side by side, not the actual mating embrace, but I'm talking about just swimming side by side, staying together, you know. If they're not under the nest together like that within 20-25 minutes, immediately separate them. If they're ready to go within 20 minutes, they'll be under the nest together. If they're not ready to spawn, within 20 minutes, if they're not under that cup, they're not ready to spawn. And you want to separate them immediately. Wait another 24 hours at least, and then try it again for another 20 minutes. But a rule of thumb that you don't ever want to you don't want to break, and a good habit you want to get into and always keep and never break, is to never give them more than 20 minutes, and if they're not under the nest together by 20 minutes, they're not ready to spawn. Next, I'm going to go over what you want to breed in. These glass tanks, I have a couple thousand glass tanks. I have a 6-acre facility. I've got, I breed over 150 non-beta species, and I've got 3 beta hatchery rooms, so I happen to have lots of glass tanks available. But glass tanks are not the best thing that you want to breed in. The absolute best thing you want to breed in is plastic, not glass, and you want it to be round. 5-gallon buckets are perfect. I've got larger ones and stuff too.